Alright guys, here we go. I told you I would be doing Predator and Predator 2, and now we are in the concrete jungle for Predator 2. Let's see, what can I talk about here? A lot of people don't like this movie, which I totally don't understand. I get it, Arnold's not in it, and that's really a big thing for a lot of people. But I thought Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon is just cast perfectly here. He's sweating, he's stressed out, he's ready to go postal basically. He's totally high strung, irritable, angry, and frustrated, I guess, with the crime that he's trying to solve in the city, and I think this movie stands up really well, especially compared to the first one. Came out in 1990. I remember I came to Canada in 1990, and I remember my friend was saying to me, he's like, "Oh, the new Predator movie's out." I remember seeing the commercial for it, and he's like, I have it. My dad rented it. I flipped out. I was like, "What?" I didn't know what would happen. How did he have it so fast? And then I remember I went to his house and we started watching it, and I was just blown away. We didn't get to finish it, and then I rented it again later from the video store when I was, what was I? I think I was seven when I saw this movie. And it's again, like my other review, let me just give you a quick breakdown of the story, and then I'll talk about how I feel about the movie, its strengths, its weaknesses, and kind of do a comparison of this to the other one. So the first one is in the jungle, but this one is like in the concrete jungle, is the idea. This time, so Predator in the first movie, he goes in and he's hunting, he's hunting human prey in the jungle because it's hot, and his thermal vision he can see because of the heat. In this one, he's in LA during like a heat wave, so he can see everything. Obviously, he can see by the city. It's super hot. That's why his thermal vision catches everything in such detail, and the stuff that's hot stands out. So he's watching the gang wars. There's a bunch of gang wars going on, and he takes notice of this one specific hero cop played by Danny Glover, and then he sees that, and he takes an interest in him, and then he starts to kind of like toy with him. He starts to kill off gang members that Danny Glover is like going after, and then he kind of also takes out some of his partners. So basically, it's a cat and mouse situation, chase, I think, in this movie. Sometimes Predator is chasing him, sometimes he's chasing Predator. Again, it's a very simple story, a little bit more complex than the first one, but not so much. And again, spoilers for anyone if you haven't seen. These movies for me are anything that I review, unless by special request, is like a classic. So if you haven't seen the movies that I'm reviewing, please go watch them first before you hear me spoil them for you. Because these movies are so old now that I'm just gonna assume I might not always remember to say spoiler alert, because I mean they're so old, right? But yeah, Predator is in this city jungle this time. He's taken off gang members from the Voodoo gang and the Colombian drug lords, and he takes attention to Danny Glover's character, whose name's Harrigan. And then it kind of the movie progresses, and then the police and Harrigan, they start to figure out kind of what's going on, and then they meet Gary Busey's character, who's also another agent, kind of similar to Danny Glover's character Carl Weathers' character in the first Predator. So there's a bit of a similarity there. And it just progresses to eventually Danny Glover chasing after the Predator, getting trapped by those guys who think they're prepared, the agents who've been studying him for a while, and now they think they're prepared because they think that they know how he can see, so they can blind him. But little do they know that there's a surprise coming to them. And then it ends up on the spacecraft of the Predator with a duel between Danny Glover and the Predator. And then the coolest part, you get to see a bunch of other Predators at that point. Like I said, I don't want to go too much into the synopsis of the story of the movie. I'd rather let you watch the movie. I just like to talk about my feelings about the movie and why it's so strong and why you should see it and what I like about it and kind of some of the historical, like for me, historical, like my childhood and kind of what I felt about the movie when I saw it and what I think about it now. I gave the first Predator 5 out of 5 biceps. I give this one 5 out of 5. Things in society change so much, norms and stuff like that, and in this movie, when it starts off, I don't think I know a movie that starts off with as much violence and intensity as I do in this one. Like you literally start out in the jungle, and 2 seconds in, you're in the middle of a gang war. Sorry, not a gang war. You're in the middle of a gang fighting with the police. There's bullets flying. There's people dying. There's explosions. All kinds of crazy violence. And then they go up, and then they go up. They run away from the police, and then Predator comes in, and then he just destroys everybody. And they don't show it in detail. Again, they're smart. They know that even though you've seen the Predator in the first movie, it's still wise to ease him in to the story. And I love the action in this movie. So the first movie was directed by John McTiernan, who's a master of action movies. This one is directed by Stephen Hopkins, who I think does an amazing job. I don't know why this guy didn't blow up in Hollywood as a director. He did one of the Friday the 13th, or no, sorry, he did one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I think it was either I can't remember which one he did, but he's so talented in the way. And again, he's got Alan Silvestri doing the soundtrack, which makes the movie. Alan Silvestri adds a lot of almost King Kong type sounds to the soundtrack. It's the same soundtrack as the first one, but he adds a little bit more to it that makes it feel like city type. Amazing job. Stan Winston again, amazing job. Predator looks different, but more exotic, and I think this Predator is supposed to be like a younger one, less experienced than the first one. But again, beautiful work on the costume, beautiful work on the music, beautiful work on the thermal vision. The thermal vision is almost exactly the same. It's a little bit more crisper in certain areas, but it's still amazing. Danny Glover is amazing. Maria Conchita Alonso, she plays a cop in it. She's from The Running Man with Arnold. She's awesome. Ruben Blades, Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton's crazy. He's in Aliens. He's in Predator 2. He's just a legend. Rest in peace. I just love the amount of intensity and action in this one. In Predator, the first one, there is intensity and action, but it's kind of split up to small little pieces here and there between the kills. In this one, it's in like longer durations. My favorite scene in this movie is a scene where the Jamaicans, they're at this Colombian drug lord guy's house, or his penthouse. They're about to kill him, and there's like 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them maybe, and they're all heavily armed. And Predator shows up, and right after they kill the guy, he starts utilizing. They introduce a lot of his weaponry, so you get to learn a lot about more lore, the Predator lore. And he's using the net gun, and he's using something that he shoots, and he uses a spear. And that scene is so intense. Even now when I watch it, it's so awesome the way it's filmed, because it's constantly switching back and forth between what you're seeing as an audience, and switching back and forth between that and what Predator's his vision. So it's like, you see a guy getting like stabbed from the behind, and then all of a sudden the camera switches from behind, and you see the Predator, and you see the guy in front of him, like movie, like amazing scene. And then the movie slows down a little bit about that, turns into more of like a detective type thing, and then like one of the characters goes to get the thing that he saw up in that the Predator shot. It must have deflected and went into the ceiling, and then you see Predator again, and then there's another big action scene with Gary Busey, who's really good in this movie. Him and his entire team, when they lure the Predator into the slaughterhouse, and they try to trap him, but they don't realize the extent of his technology. It's just a really, really good movie. I put it up there right next to Predator. I actually find Predator 2 a little bit more rewatchable. Not that take away anything from Predator, but Predator can be slow at times if you've seen it so many times, especially the beginning, a little bit of the beginning. Danny Glover is awesome in this movie. I just love seeing how intense he is, and how he's almost like it's unhinged, but you can understand why in his situation. What else can I say about this movie? Like I said, Stephen Hopkins' direction is just really well done. These two movies are so superior to anything that came afterwards. I think they might have used maybe a lot of the same crew, and that's the beauty of it, is like Predator is kind of consistent with the other Predator, because you got the same Stan Winston doing it again, and then you got whoever the Predator vision. I saw it in the behind the scenes footage. They're using kind of the same camera that they used at the first time. The first Predator is very violent, but I think you can still watch it with a younger child, or if you want, as a parent. This one is, I saw it when I was 7, but there's a couple of scenes of sexual content nature that are not appropriate for kids. Well, I mean, the violence is not appropriate either, but that's up to your discretion. I watched it when I was a kid, and I consider myself normal. More action-packed than the first. Set in this one obviously is, you're gonna have some a little bit dated with it, like as opposed to the first one, because like I said, the first one doesn't have any cars or technology or anything that would be dated, whereas this one, they're in the city, they got the clothes, they got the cars, so you can tell this is a 90s movie. And the only thing I didn't like about this movie is, I'm nitpicking here, the only thing I didn't like was there were a couple of scenes where they showed the Predator up close, and for some reason they decided to use an animatronic face, and it shows in the eyes that it's not real. Whereas in the first Predator, the close-up shots, they showed Kevin Peter Hall. I can't believe I forgot to mention him. Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Predator, it shows his eyes with, I think, the contacts on. Looks much better than if you zoom in and it's an animatronic face. I don't understand the reason for them doing that. I did not like that, but again, that's only a couple of shots. The ending is awesome, where the elder Predator throws like this gun from like 1715, some pirate gun or something, to Danny Glover as a showing that, okay, you've survived, here's respect, kind of a respect type thing. And yeah, that's about it, honestly. Great movie. Predator 1 and 2 are made to be together. If you own them, you should own both of them. If you watched Predator 2 in the 90s and you didn't like it, I honestly think if you watched it again, you'll like it more, especially compared, like, this is, to me, this is back in the 90s, this is like your average action movie. Predator was a masterpiece. This is your kind of an average one. When you compare it to stuff now, this is like I don't know, this is like Yeah, this is like Shakespeare compared to the stuff that's out now. But yeah, I give this movie 5 out of 5 biceps, and I hope you enjoyed the review. I'll be putting up a lot more stuff, and if you have any comments or questions or anything about the movie that you want to share with me, I'd be happy to hear it. And until next time, stay pumped